Emmys didn't have hosts, so I think we're off for Unpeeled too, so I'll see you guys later.
I wish that was the case, Max, but we will be hosting the show, and coming up, we'll tell you all the latest on what happened at the Emmys, who won, who was best dressed.
It's all coming up on Unpeeled. Welcome to the Emmys edition of Unpeeled. I'm Max Chadwick.
And I'm Carmella Boykin. Before we begin our Emmys coverage, we have some serious news to deliver. Queer Eye host Jonathan Van Ness announced he's HIV positive in an interview with the New York Times. Van Ness opened up to talk about his new memoir, Over the Top. The book will explore his past, including his struggles with drug abuse and sexual trauma.
Yeah, Carmella, JVN revealed that he was diagnosed with HIV in his mid-20s after fainting in a hair salon. Van Ness has worked hard to clean up his life and move forward. And Carmella, he said that he never really wanted to open up about his diagnosis on Queer Eye because of the show's upbeat nature, but he said he wants everyone to know that nobody is too broken to be fixed.
And that's really important. I mean, when I think of the Fab Five, and you think of all the men in the Fab Five, he's one of the ones that I think of as the most open, the one who talks about his problems, his struggles, his triumphs. But the fact that he's hesitant and had nightmares about coming out about being HIV positive, I think really shows the kind of stigma that's still around being positive.
Yeah, and it really shows the human side of him as well. And look, he'll have his hands full, okay? He's not done yet. He's got Queer Eye, he's got his podcast called Getting Curious, and his stand-up comedy. I mean, in his book, like we just mentioned before, this is a guy that is staying busy through all of this as well.
Absolutely, but with the stress that comes with that, he posts on Instagram of him taking care of himself. He does figure skating, he does gymnastics, so I have no doubt that he'll be able to
He's a much
through.
better human than you or I.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of self-care, Nick Carter has filed a restraining order from his brother, singer Aaron Carter. Nick is requesting Aaron stay at least 100 feet from him and his family. Now, this is after Aaron threatened to, quote, unquote, kill everybody in a recent Instagram live video.
That's right. In an emotional tweet, Nick says, quote, in light of Aaron's recent increasingly alarming behavior and his recent confession that he harbors thoughts and intentions of killing my pregnant wife and unborn child, we were left with no choice but to take every measure possible to protect ourselves and our family. We love our brother and truly hope he gets proper treatment he needs before any harm comes to himself or anyone else. Now, Aaron hasn't been exactly silent on social media either. He's responded to the accusations in a post on Instagram, saying that he's hurt that his brother is using this as a tactic to control him, and that he hopes the legal system powers through because the truth will set him free.
Yeah, and he said really his brother filed the restraining order as retaliation because Aaron was speaking with singer Melissa Schumann, who accused Nick of raping her in 2002. Now, Nick has denied these claims completely, and the case was thrown out because the statute of limitations had passed.
That's right. Also, Max, Aaron has fought back on social media. He's accused Nick of abusing Paris Hilton and also raping a 91-year-old woman in Instagram posts too.
Yeah, so the family's been pretty dysfunctional, I would say.
Without a doubt. And former Access Hollywood host Billy Bush was back on the Emmys purple carpet this weekend. The new host of Extra was fired from NBC for a leaked tape of a sexist conversation he had with President Donald Trump. Trump later called the tape locker room talk.
Yeah, Carmella, Bush told the Hollywood Reporter he was nervous to be back on the carpet and that a lot has changed since he was fired in 2016. Regardless, Bush says he's happy to be back working in his natural habitat, and after soul searching, he's committed to being a better man. Now, many were wondering, Carmella, if celebrities would talk to him on the red carpet, but many big names did, such as Bob Odenkirk and Sterling K. Brown. So there are some celebrities that are willing to move past that 2016 incident.
That's a good point, but some aren't so forgiving, like the co-host of The View, Joy Behar. He's not excited for him to be back. She says that everybody's replaceable, including people like Matt Lauer, and Extra should have found someone without such a controversial background that's clean.
Exactly. So, I mean, look, he said he's not worried about receiving backlash for being back, saying the Trump tape was, quote, old news. But, Carmella, many on Twitter have disagreed, saying that Bush himself is, quote, old news.
I mean, when you're accused of something like talking locker room talk with the president, why is he allowed back? You know, in this movement, what makes him special that he's allowed back on the red carpet?
Yeah, and that's not locker room talk, in my opinion. Also making a comeback, Jennifer Lopez revived her iconic green dress, this time At Milan Fashion Week, J.Lo initially wore the Versace dress at the Grammy Awards in 2000. This time she wore an upgraded version of the dress that created just as much buzz as it did nearly 20 years ago.
Oh, this makes me so excited. The original dress was pivotal in the emergence of Google Images, so people could search for the iconic look. Google partnered with Versace to recreate the design and showcase its new products. Now, I don't know about you, Max, but how many celebrities can pull off a dress that is so iconic Google creates a new service for people to search for things?
She literally revolutionized technology. I mean, she rocked that dress, and people search it so much that Google was like, we need to make a new feature because so many people want to see this dress. Look, J.Lo is killing it right now. Her movie Hustlers, that she both stars in and produced, made $33 million in its opening weekend. That's her biggest opening ever.
And even on YouTube, she's 50 years old. She posted a video of her learning how to pole dance for the movie. Everything you see in the movie is her. She flips upside down. She's bossed. We already knew that, didn't we?
She's a queen, all right? She's a queen. She's iconic. We stand here.
Absolutely.
I mean, what she did in that movie, I watched that movie, I don't know if you've seen it yet, was unreal. I mean, I can't do that. I'm 20 years old. She's 50 years old. I can't even come close to doing any of those things that J.Lo was doing.
Absolutely. And even songs, okay, what she have? On the Floor?
Yeah.
Fantastic with Mr. Worldwide?
Yeah.
Great hit. Love dancing to that in middle school.
She killed it in that movie, and she deserves everything that's coming her way with that movie. That movie was outstanding. She produced that, like I said. She starred in it. And, I mean, look, J.Lo is here to stay, is what I really took out of that.
Oh, for sure. And I'm excited to see what she does next. We've seen a lot of celebrities on social media. We've seen, right, The Rock has taken over. He's taken over Instagram. Kevin Hart's taken over Instagram. Will Smith is on YouTube. Will J.Lo be the next Will Smith on YouTube?
Ooh, I think so. I think J.Lo is so influential. I mean, we saw that the dress in 2000 literally changed Google. Like, who the heck changes Google?
Right.
She did with that dress. So we'll see what she does with this next dress and future, because J.Lo will be staying in the spotlight for the foreseeable future, in my opinion.
Oh, without a doubt. She's an icon.
She is, for sure. All right, after the break, Unpeeled's industry reporter updates us on what a former Fox 2000 executive has been up to since Disney closed the film studio.
And a well-known actor is working on a project here in Central New York. Stick around for the details because Unpeeled will be right back.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back, Unpeelers. A former Fox 2000 executive opened up about closing the film studio in an exclusive interview with The Hollywood Reporter this week. After the Fox and Disney merger last spring, Disney announced they would be closing the popular subdivision of 21st Century Fox. The closed studio meant thousands lost their jobs and many films were canceled. Former executive Elizabeth Gabler went on to discuss her current position as the head of the new film studio partnered with publishing company HarperCollins. Unpeeled's industry reporter Liam Crowley joins us now for more on Gabler's transition from Fox 2000 to 3000 Pictures. So Liam, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, excited to be here.
So Liam, can you tell us a little more about Fox 2000 and what Gabler's role with the studio was?
Yeah, so Fox 2000, it was a subdivision of 21st Century Fox, and it produced a lot of fan-favorite original films. This includes Hidden Figures, The Devil Wears Prada, and many of their popular properties were adapted from books, actually, including Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Chronicles of Narnia, and the heavily nominated Life of Pi. And the best way to describe Fox 2000's vibe is that it was like a coming-of-age, young adult-centered studio focused on producing independent films targeted at underserved groups. Now, Gabler was the president of Fox 2000, meaning she oversaw all the production. She greenlit the films that were going to go into production. And Disney actually did plan to keep Fox 2000 around, but they announced out of nowhere in March 2019 that they would be shutting down the division. As you guys mentioned, thousands of people lost their jobs, and they left Gabler without a plan until now.
So this studio, lots of iconic films that you mentioned. Love the films. Devil Wears Prada, legendary. But
yes.
What's her plan moving forward? Yeah,
so as we mentioned, she's going to live on with Fox 2000, sort of, under a new name titled 3000 Pictures, and they're partnering with Sony. Now, is this a slight jab at Disney? Think about it. We all know Sony recently divorced their relationship with Disney when they took back Spider-Man, not on the best of terms. And 3000 Pictures, love you 3000. It might be a stretch, but I'm just saying. They're focused on producing 4 movies a year, down from the previous 6 with Fox, and HarperCollins, a very successful and famous publisher, is actually putting in significant money, what they're calling, to get this studio off the ground.
I love the Avengers Endgame reference there. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
So Liam, how important is this studio's revival in the current Hollywood climate?
Oh, this is essential. I mean, this story needs more attention. When we think about it, Gabler taking this initiative to fund 3000 Pictures is essential to the survival of diverse Hollywood. Everything today, everything is franchised superhero reboot. This past weekend, top 5 grossing movies at the box office. Downton Abbey comes from TV. Rambo, a sequel. It, a sequel. The top 10 movies that grossed this year domestically, 9 of the 10 were franchised or sequels. The average budget, $168 million. We're not getting enough original films focused on, stories that are underserved. Having Gabler fund the studio, getting HarperCollins involved, pushing it forward, it's going to lead to more original films, more diverse films, more films targeted at young adults that we're not going to get from the big studios that only want the big CGI, the big budgets, and the hopeful $300 million opening weekends. I'm excited for this studio to get off the ground because Hollywood's going to get real stale real fast if we only go to these movies that, oh, they had 8 movies before, let's stick with what we know works. Let's try some new stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do we know of any of the films? Have any been released? Can you give us a sneak peek of what you might know?
Yeah, actually, there's a film with Tom Hanks that was supposed to be released under Fox 2000 back when it was going to be part of Disney. But when that got put away, Gabler really didn't know what to do, and she's kind of very fronting in the matter. She wants to not lead her clientele on and think, oh, it's still going to get made, it's still going to get made, when she knows it has no hope. She's still hoping to get that movie off the ground. It's called News of the World with Paul Greengrass directing, and so hopefully that movie is going to come out under the 3000 Pictures banner. We don't know if it'll actually get off the ground, but I think with the initiative Gabler's showing, I have a lot of hope for it.
Our reporter Liam Crowley, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So in other movie news, locals spotted Vince Vaughn in the Syracuse area this past week. Now Vaughn will star in a Hulu original with much of the production taking place in Liverpool. The Central New York production company American High announced more details about the upcoming movie called, quote, The Binge. Unpeeled film reporter Andrew Goldberg joins us to discuss the details of Vaughn's latest project. Andrew, what's going on, man?
I am excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about the movie. Like you said, it's called The Binge. And basically the general premise is that all drugs and alcohol are illegal except for one day a year where, you guessed it, they get to binge. So think of it as sort of like a Purge spinoff. But what really is intriguing here to me is the cast. Because you've got Vince Vaughn on one hand, who's, in my mind, still an A-lister, still gets a lot of plum roles. But then you also have a lot of young stars signing on. You have Skylar Gisondo, fresh off his appearance from Booksmart, and also Eduardo Franco from American Vandal. So a good mix of young and old here. It's set to come out on Hulu and be released sometime within the next year.
Awesome. And so why do you think Vaughn decided to partner with American High?
Well, I think there are a few factors to consider here. I mean, first of all, the director on this project, Jeremy Garlick, he has a strong working relationship with Vince Vaughn. The two have worked together on many projects in the past. Specifically 2006's comedy, The Breakup. where Garlick was the producer and Vaughn was the star. So I think the two sort of have a lot in common and are willing to work with each other again, considering their past history. But I think the biggest factor here is really about American High is one of the hottest production companies, especially in the Northeast right now. I mean, you look at what they're working on. They have 5 pictures in the works right now. They've already attached stars like Pete Davidson, Dylan Sprouse to some of their movies. So I think you're going to look at them as a company that's really starting to take off in the next few years.
So I saw a picture of Vince Vaughn in Syracuse. Now, where was he exactly, though, in Syracuse?
So that's kind of the interesting thing. Although production is taking place in the Liverpool area, Vaughn has been spotted around Syracuse a few times. He was at the farmers market in downtown near Clinton Square. Also, he was spotted at one of the local diners around here, JJ's Miss Syracuse Diner. And like you mentioned, a few students have been able to take pictures with Vaughn so far and post them to social media. So if you look around, you might get lucky, see the big guy walking around, maybe stop him and take an Instagram picture. You never know. He's supposed to be very friendly.
Awesome. Our reporter, Andrew, thank you so much. And coming up on Unpeeled, Friends is celebrating its 25th anniversary this week.
Find out how to make Google Shout pivot after the break.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Welcome back on Peelers. The iconic sitcom Friends celebrated its 25th anniversary this week. Movie theaters around the country are playing an anniversary special and never before seen content to honor the show. Unpeeled's pop culture reporter Katie Lane is here to tell us how other companies plan on celebrating the Friend anniversary. Katie, first of all, awesome shirt.
Thank you.
How happy are you to be here?
Could I be any happier to be here? Of course, the answer is no. I'm so excited to be talking about Friends. September 22nd marked the 25th anniversary of the beloved sitcom. So yeah, we got a whole day filled with Joey, Monica, Chandler, Phoebe, Rachel, and Ross.
Oh, I'm so excited. But what are people doing to celebrate this very special anniversary?
Okay, so first off, Warner Brothers created pop-up stores in New York and Los Angeles to kind of showcase different costumes and props that were used. They also made it look like Central Perk, the iconic coffee shop. Theaters across the U.S. are screening Friends 25th, the one with the anniversary. So, classic title. Screenings are taking place September 23rd, the 28th, and October 2nd. Each night will feature 4 different episodes, and within those episodes there'll be exclusive interviews, I'm assuming from producers, the director, and some of the cast as well. So it's going to be cool to hear from them. And it's all going to be in 4K high definition on the big screen. So,
wow. So Katie, look, this show was popular in the 90s and early 2000s. How is Friends still such a big hit now late in the 2010s?
Yeah, Friends is a huge hit. I think it's because of the characters. They're so relatable, they're funny, and their style too. It's making a comeback. So also the relationships. You gotta love Monica and Chandler and Ross and Rachel and Joey and food.
Absolutely, that was one of the best parts. But how are cast members celebrating? So we've seen them come together on Ellen. They've done little skits here and there. Are they celebrating for this?
So yeah, they just have been posting photos on social media. It was Courtney Cox and Lisa Kudrow that were together. So Monica and Phoebe. So they were actually at a party together that night, and they posted a cute little photo. And they kind of made a dig at Jennifer Aniston and Matthew Perry for not having Instagram, so that they like couldn't tag them. And they all posted like different cast photos throughout the years. So yeah, super cool. But other things that they're doing to celebrate Friends, Google has this special feature that a little icon will pop up in the corner of the screen when you type in the characters' names. And so for Ross, for example, a little couch will pop up and it'll say, you click on it and it goes pivot, pivot.
Ah,
pivot.
fantastic.
Yeah, so lots of different things for all the different characters. They really are going all out.
Awesome. Our reporter, Katie Lane, thank you so much for being here. And staying with the Friends theme, Ralph Lauren teamed up with the sitcom to produce a fashion collection inspired by Rachel Green. Jennifer Aniston's character worked for Ralph Lauren in the show and became a fashion icon of the 90s. Unpeeled lifestyle reporter Olivia Tamino was here to tell us how to recreate the classic looks of Rachel Green. So Olivia, thank you for joining us. Are you ready to let us get us spruced up?
Yes, definitely.
So Olivia, what are some of the pieces in this collection?
So yeah, as you said, the collection is inspired mostly by Rachel Green's fashion. So because of that, you can expect some knee-high leather boots, the plaid skirts, the turtlenecks, basically everything classic. They really did a great job of encompassing her style. But they also had some more fun pieces. One of my favorite ones was this leopard coat that they have. It's like a long coat, and it was really cool. But overall, it was very stylish. And as Katie said before, it's coming back in trend. So.
Oh, absolutely. And when you watch the show, the women are mostly known for their fashion, right? You've got Rachel, Monica, and Phoebe. But the men had some funky sweaters. They had some looks too. Is there anything for men in this collection?
Yes, there's definitely a couple pieces. You definitely have some of Ross's sweaters in there. Not sure if they're still the cutest thing, but they're out there. And then there's some denim pieces as well for men, so they can definitely get something from the collection.
So Olivia, my wallet is pretty thin, and since the collection is Ralph Lauren, is this going to break our piggy banks?
Let's just say the characters on the show could not afford this collection. It's definitely more on the expensive side. It's a little bit upsetting because, you know, you would like to be able to recreate those looks today for a little bit of a cheaper price point. But, you know, they can definitely still get out there. If you want some inspiration, you could look at the collection online and then maybe hit up a Forever 21. So you never know.
And so where can people go to pick up these sporty looks? We know in the show, Rachel, she worked at Bloomie's for a little bit. Will it be at Bloomie's?
Yes, actually, they do have the collection at Bloomingdale's. When it came out, they actually recreated Central Perk in Bloomingdale's as well. So that's where you were shopping for it. And then you can shop it online at Ralph Lauren as well.
So you'd be buying any of these clothes? Have you looked at them yet? Do you think you'll be buying any of them?
I have. The coat I mentioned before is $3,000, so I don't think I'll be buying that one.
Yikes.
But the cheapest piece is a $20 t-shirt, so, you know, maybe.
Ooh, shoot, that's very close.
Yes.
Olivia, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, coming up next, the biggest night in TV has kept Hollywood buzzing all week long.
Find out the best and worst moments from the 71st Primetime Emmy Awards, next on Unpeeled.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Hollywood is still buzzing over the 71st Primetime Emmy Awards this past Sunday. While longtime favorites like Game of Thrones and Veep came into the night with high expectations, it was the success of relative newcomers that stole the show, with the limited series Chernobyl and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Fleabag taking home 3 and 4 Emmys respectively. Unpeeled TV reporter Carissa D'Agostino is here to discuss TV's biggest nights. Carissa, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Carissa, what made this year's Emmys so different from the other ones?
Well, obviously, they haven't been hostless since 2003, so that was the biggest thing. What really made it different, though, was the way they structured the show because it was hostless. So despite them not having a host, they had Bryan Cranston open. He gave a really great speech about how TV has come so far and really included streaming, like streaming services in the mix with that, and that really hasn't been seen before, titling them as this TV category. Despite this, there was also presenters who had bits. We've never really seen that before. Some of the bits were great, some of them weren't so great. We saw that TikTok, wasn't the best. We're gonna forgive him. But we also had Thomas Lennon giving a play-by-play, kind of, which was unique. It was special. He threw out some things about the college admissions scandal, which didn't get the greatest feedback, but you know, it was a different take on the Emmys. So all in all, it was definitely different, whether it be good or bad.
Very true, very true. And who took home some of the most awards?
So HBO was nominated for 137 nominations. Netflix had 117. Amazon Prime Video received 47. But overall, HBO won. It took home 34 Emmys this year. Amazon actually dominated the comedy category, taking home 3 awards for Marvelous Miss Maisel and 4 awards for Fleabag, which included the Outstanding Comedy Series. Despite this, though, Fleabag writer Phoebe Waller-Bridge did say they will not be coming back for another season despite their wins.
All right, so what other highlights and upsets happened on Sunday night?
I think the biggest highlight was Jharrel Jerome's won Best Lead Actor for a limited series for When They See Us, and he dedicated that to the Exonerated Five, which was previously known as the Central Park Five. It was a very powerful moment. They put the camera on them and they were all standing up cheering for him. Going off of that, tons of moving speeches. We had Alex Borstein, who highlighted the power of women stepping out of line and related that to her grandma, who stepped out of line to be shot into a pit, essentially, is what she said. We had Michelle Williams highlighting the need for equal pay and treatment of women actresses so they could do their job to the best of their abilities. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, obviously, she said, it's wonderful to know a dirty, pervy, angry, and messed up woman could make it to the Emmys, and a lot of people felt for that line right there. Patricia Arquette used her speech to advocate for transgender rights in support of her sister Alexis, who passed away in 2016, so that was also moving. And also, Billy Porter highlighted how far we've come as a society, because he was the first openly gay male to win the Best Lead Actor in a Drama Series. For Syracuse highlights, though, we actually had 4 previous Syracuse students who were included on the Emmy win. So we had Dan, go us, right? So we had Dan Gorwich, a 2016 graduate. He won for Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. We had David Young, he was a 2005 graduate. Carpool Karaoke Series, won Outstanding Short for that. We had Betsy West, co-producer of RBG. We loved that. We had Tony Zukowski, which was an editing member for Queer Eye, which was really awesome.
Shoot. Come through, Syracuse grads. Come through.
We did pretty good. We represented, I would say.
Absolutely.
Though for some upsets, obviously, we had Jodie Comer, who beat out her Killing Eve co-star Sandra Oh, and Game of Thrones' Emilia Clarke for Best Lead Actress in a Drama Series. Some people were not too happy about that. Julia Garner also beat out 3 actresses, Sophia Turner, Maisie Williams, and Alina Headey. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver also took home Best Variety Talk Show. People weren't really too happy with that.
Now, Carissa, you mentioned change earlier. A lot of people were advocating for change, and there's been a big change in the industry too, from traditional cable to streaming services. So between the two, which one came out with more awards?
Obviously, streaming services just completely dominated the show. Maybe that's why they really gave that opening speech of including them into television. They just completely took over. HBO took over. NBC only won 2 awards, and VH1 won another award. There really wasn't that many broadcasting awards.
Awesome. Our reporter, Christy D'Agostino, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have.
Really?
Almost. But there's one last thing we want to do. You know, Max, I've always imagined that I would win an award on the Emmys. And
Did you actually?
It might be time. I did. I think it might be
getting
time
an
to give
award
a
right
speech.
now? Am I getting an award right now?
I think you might. All right. I might have written a little bit of something, but let's keep it short. I'd like to thank the Unpeeled producers, writers, and crew for all your hard work. My mom and dad for constantly tuning into CitrusTV. My lovely co-host, Maximilian. Thank you.
See you guys.
We'll see you in the next episode, Unpeelers.